Hello everyone and welcome to the 2021 Discraft presents Sun Kings Throw Down the Mountain 9. We're here with the FPO division round 3 back 9, what should be the final 9 of this PDGA A-tier tournament. We've got a great battle unfolding right now. Ellen Widboom trying to hunt down Sarah Hokom, who's built herself a comfortable lead. Sarah opening the tournament with a 4 under, coming back out with a 2 under. So she sat at 6 under. And Ellen sits at 1 over. But seems to be carrying a little bit more momentum at the moment. That was Elaine King. Hole 10. A new hole that we are seeing here for the 2021 version. I believe Dwayne Reeder and the rest of the crew really worked on this to make it available for 2020. However, after the 2 non-pro weekends held in 2020, the third weekend was canceled as that was right around that March 18th or 20th time frame. And by that time, all PDGA play had been suspended, as most of the players, myself included, and everyone else were in Waco at the time, and that's when things were canceled, as I was planning to come here for the very next weekend, but unfortunately it couldn't happen. So,
Elaine, why do you keep doing this? It might be me again. I should just do the sidearm. I should do the Sarah Hokom sidearm. Get myself a little distance. Take a boring for it.
Elaine talking herself into her strategy. She said maybe just play the Sarah Hokom sidearm, which now, to be fair, very few people possess that aren't named Sarah, but basically saying she should have pitched up, played for the 4, and been content with that. And now she's got more trouble. Ellen catches a tree, but it continues up the hill. She'll have a long look at birdie. And with Sarah's forehand, she is in really good position here. I should say forehand or backhand from where she's at right now. A little bit difficult because I don't think she can actually see the pin. But in terms of the distance off the tee and where she has to go, she's in a great spot. Not quite enough power on it, though. Courtney also on that hillside. Hole 10 comes in just a little bit over the halfway mark in terms of difficulty on the course. Here's Ellen with a long uphill look. And a really solid run. Now it does drop off behind the basket. You have a little bit of a shelf up there, but then it drops off. And where it doesn't drop off, it can be really obstructed. So you have to be careful with how aggressive you are on a putt such as this from Sarah.
Dang it.
And although Sarah landed right next to the pin, it then got up and rolled to at least 25, maybe 30 feet all the way down where you saw how outstretched she was. And that is really frustrating, as she was just a few moments ago looking at a birdie putt, and now she's next to the pin looking to tap in for bogey. I got to say, I love the commitment from Sarah to go after the birdie putt, but the fact that it just popped up on her and rolled away, that is some terrible luck. Courtney with the par. Continue to watch as Ellen and Sarah are two front runners here, of course. I don't see enough holes or opportunity for someone like Elaine to possibly catch anyone, so at least not for first. She may or may not be able to catch up to Ellen if everything went in her favor, but right now Ellen has now cut the lead down to 5. Yeah, incredible shot there by Ellen. Now, this is a slightly shorter tee that they're playing from, so not quite as long as what we saw, or will see, I should say, in the afternoon rounds by the MPO division. This is 479. I believe it's about 6.5, 600 and something from the men's longer tee. Yeah, I stand corrected. It's 599. And almost right next to Ellen's, a well-placed shot there by Hokom. No surprise, we see the backhand off the tee here by Elaine. And it looked like she just turned it over too early, and it was diving to the ground right off the bat. She proclaims that's not it, and unfortunately I have to agree with her. Looks like back-to-back shots just got over on them a little too quickly. A little smirk. That is the pro move here by Courtney. That is the official. I'm going to take an extra moment. I'm going to use my handbag here and just wait for everyone to either quit moving and or quit talking. And I think that is the absolute perfect way to handle that. And if somebody continues to move or talk from another hole or from within your group, then maybe you can give them a little bit of the official stink eye. But just step back from your lie, take a moment, let everyone settle, and get yourself ready. So Hokom certainly in range with that. Ellen a little bit closer. Oh, incredible run. This listed as a par 4, so that would have been for eagle if she would have converted. And Elaine looking at a par. Sarah, what she wouldn't give to just have been in front of this little patch of trees. Now, if there is anyone that has an advantage in kind of pitching up and over trees or bushes, Sarah's putting style. Okay, yeah. Takes full advantage. For a lot of other players, that would have been a much more difficult or awkward putt, simply because it's either a spin putt or something that's coming more direct. Someone like Courtney here and hers was just off. But someone like Courtney or Ellen, for instance, just they're a more direct putt, where Sarah's up and over was perfect. Ellen matches Hokom's birdie. Big shout out, of course, Discraft, presenting sponsor, along with Sun King, just making this event what it is and making it happen. We see the new baskets here and the Chain Star Pros. Of course, big shout out to DGA as well, and Tyler and the crew over at DGA helping out with a little bit of the follow flight type tracking that you guys saw in some of the highlight shots. And Ellen plays the full flex shot. I love it. Parking it. Hokom stands up, just needs to finish. Also, a really good shot. Can hear a little bit of the wind. And Courtney, just a little one-stepper. I think she got over on it more than she was hoping to, but it did start to fight back. We'll see what she has for a birdie putt. A little bit of an early release there by Elaine. She's all lined up. Uh-oh.
Yeah, I didn't flick it over quite enough.
Wow. Courtney not quite pin high on that left side. She had a look. A little bit of obstruction for her. Now Elaine, who said she didn't quite get enough on it, leaves herself a tester. This is for par.
Yeah.
That'll work. This is Hokom trying to erase the bogey she just had on hole number 11. Good putt. Correction. It's getting late. I apologize. It is about 3:30 in the morning as I'm doing this. She had the bogey back on 10. She had the birdie on 11. And closest to the pin here of the group. Oh. Getting her footing down. Yeah, solid birdie. So, how great watching Sarah and Ellen back-to-back birdies on 11 and 12. Nobody wants to give up their share of the lead, or does Ellen have enough to chase her down? Here is Ellen on hole 13. This is a little bit closer than what we see from the MPO side, so a good shot will get up and over onto that secondary shelf. And both Hokom and Ellen are up there. Courtney, that turns over and then kicks back down. I've said it before. You'd rather be 50 feet short of this, or maybe 25 feet short of the shelf, than right on it because that's just going to give you a really terrible angle.
Oh, my whole heart.
And I'm not laughing at her shot. I'm laughing more at the brutally honest reaction that she gives. She just says, "My whole heart." And here's what I talk about: when you're this close to the wall, you have to basically throw the disc almost straight up in the air, and there's just only so much forward carry you're going to get out of it. That's why being back where Courtney was, for instance, I feel like is a better shot. That's all assuming you're not getting up on the shelf like both Hokom and Ellen did. And I'll throw this out as a clarification. As watching Ellen try to turn that one over, it gets caught up in the cabbage. Some people may ask, why what's up with calling Sarah always by Hokom? To be fair, Hokom is pretty much like a given nickname for her. Yes, everyone knows her name is Sarah, and it's not incredibly uncommon for people to be referred to as their last name, but Sarah very much embraces it. It's not just me. Sarah just often is referred to as simply Hokom. So I'll just throw that out there. I know sometimes in years past people almost have felt like it's a derogatory or a rude way to address or reference her, and if she felt that way, I would certainly change it, but she does not. Let's see what kind of look Courtney has from short and left. A little bit of the sawgrass, but it continues forward. That could have been a real disc stopper. On a good angle, but a little skip off to the left, just enough to make it a tester of a putt. You got to wonder, had Sarah not hit that one stalk or branch of sawgrass, if it would have carried that much more to give her a better look at this. But with that pitch up, she's looking at a par. She jokes about making it more difficult on herself. And one of Ellen's specialties is long-range putting. Let's see if she can dial this one in. Courtney. Oh. Not quite connecting. Elaine also not able to connect. Hole 13 plays as the second most difficult hole on this course. It averages 1.09 above par. So it's a par 5, and the score that it's averaging is 6.09. And that will be a bogey, as you see. In fact, normally I love to be able to read off the birdies when there are very few of them. Unfortunately, there were 0 birdies on the day. And instead, our pars were Andrea Eaton, who currently sits in 5th place, just a stroke or 2 away from Courtney. Ellen, who you just watched tap in, and of course Sarah, who tapped in. So those were all 3 of the pars that were found on hole 13. So we head here to 14. I hate to say it, but 14 is the 3rd most difficult. So we're going from the 2nd most difficult to the 3rd most difficult hole on the course. Back to back. This is a par 4. 676 feet. Couple backhand drives here.
Ooh, somebody's closer.
And they can certainly make the joke, as both of them not predominant backhand throwers. Here's Elaine.
Get farther than both of them.
Get it.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I think I might won.
That wins.
Elaine getting in on the fun, doing a little poking. Here's Courtney.
Come around. It's coming. Come on. Come on.
Dang it. Is that a meteor? Yeah, it's just not right.
So they're confirming that Courtney actually went with a Meteor, which is a Discraft mid-range, an incredible one at that, I must say. But she threw a mid as opposed to the other 3 women who were just a little bit closer to the pin than her, but all 3 of the other women threw high-speed drivers. So Courtney flexing on them just a little bit with that power. Just really packing a punch there. Oh, you gotta love the angle here. And throughout the round, you hear that ice within the canteen. That is Elaine. So she's not quite the distance that we just saw from Sarah. Courtney goes over the shelf that's on that right side. That's actually out of bounds. There's an orange painted line, and then that goes back down. And I guess for geography purposes, that shelf in that lower lying area is actually the shelf that goes back to the tee of 12. So the previous hole they played, 12 and 13 don't quite perfectly parallel each other, but pretty close.
A little higher.
And Ellen almost ringing it up from way downtown. If you were to go at about the 2 o'clock position from over Sarah's shoulder right now and go a few hundred feet, that you'd be back on the tee of the previous hole, hole 13. Sorry if I said 12 earlier, hole 13. And after bringing it in the 1 meter.
That was so close. Thank you.
And I'm not sure that she could even see the pin from where she was. So almost a bogey save. Hokom in for the par. And par here is just fine. This hole averaged exactly 5. It's a par 4 that averaged exactly 1 stroke above par. .36% of the players took a par here. Wow, that's some real math. Friends over at Ledgestone Insurance, of course, big event that takes place over in Peoria, Illinois. Special event release discs. Mike at Sun King, I know carries those as well.
Thank you, Tree.
So make sure you're checking out those great sites, both Sun King Discs and shop.lis.com. Great shot by...
See what happens when you don't get greedy?
They had a lengthy conversation. That was Elaine and Hokom that had a conversation just before she had teed, and they were just talking about, where she's trying to land, what she's trying to really do. And Elaine had basically told Sarah to not try to bite off too much, so to speak, and pushing it much past where she landed wasn't really going to pay off or be worth the risk. And Sarah listened to her and then executed a great shot as Courtney makes the bend with that right-handed backhand. Wow, and a clean look by Ellen.
I meant to do that.
She says she meant to do that. She was certainly joking. She had missed her line on the inside, but she missed it by enough that she didn't hit anything on the inside. She was actually trying to go much more to the left of that. And so Sarah from the middle of the fairway also throws a great shot. We'll have to see who's closer between her and Ellen, but both of them throwing really solid approach shots. Courtney's in the best position. And good shot, but it looked like it'll be short. We'll see. So Elaine in the fair. Okay, so Courtney, it's a good shot. Unfortunately, she's pushed just behind that one little gathering of trees, the two trees in the bush. And an outstretched Ellen has the exact same problem. So doing some work, but Elaine will take the par. And this really doesn't surprise me. This comes in as the 6th most difficult hole on the course. And only Sandy Gast and Sarah Hokom managed birdies here on hole number 15 during this third round. Midi disc golf, Milwaukee area, working on leagues, events, just all around having a good time, and a bunch of great guys also working on some fun apparel action. So make sure you check them out. Find them on Instagram and Facebook.
Could be worse.
Sarah seemingly misses her line, but as she said, it could be worse. Ellen will be deep of the pin, but she remained clean. It didn't roll all the way to the bottom. It just kicked over to the right. So Elaine she might even be able to see the basket actually from where she's standing as Courtney forehands it just past the pin. And hole 16, the shortest hole on the property for the weekend. Same tee and pin for all the divisions. It's averaged just a little bit below par and comes in as the 5th easiest hole on the course. And just as a guy who's now been here a number of times, I've seen the pin back kind of where Courtney was, or back to the tree on that left side. I've also seen it pushed up and a little bit to the right from where it is now. I really love this position, the one where you can see it, the one where Sarah just cashed it in and birdied from. I feel like it brings the front hillside into play a little bit more. I think that's the whole danger of this hole is you let up a little too much because you don't want to go past it, and you could find yourself hitting the hillside. And if you go way deep, like, say, Courtney did, you still have to be thinking about your approach coming back at it. So in this case, I think the shorter 164 position as opposed to, say, 225, I think just makes for a really good hole. Everybody loves a little shorty every once in a while. As that did average 2.91 on the weekend. So Hokom, a 6-stroke advantage going into 17. That is low and on the right side, but keeping herself away from the OB. This hole, you see that orange flag on the left side, and really short and right also is OB. I don't think our FPO will have to worry about that, but and she flexes it on the inside of that tree, which actually is over by the OB. But it flexes right back to the pin. I think she's going to have about 25, maybe 30 feet. And that is going to flirt with the OB line. She says she's not sure. What I am sure of is all the thanks and accolades I have to give yet again. Here's a forehand by Courtney, but Dwayne and Susan, my host, year in and year out, along with the entire staff and crew, of course, over at Sun King. Everybody that puts their hands on this property to make it playable for the month that we usually see it each year. And that includes the vendors that come out and participate and support, Rick and crew who I know have done some parking, just so many people it takes to put this event on, and then Mike Barnett just having the faith and trust in the disc golf community to come out and partake on this private property that gets rented for the month that we're here. And you just saw it, Elaine on the line, and if any part of your disc is touching inbounds, you are considered inbounds. So she made sure somebody else from her group came over and saw it to confirm just that, and then brought it in the 1 meter. This is Ellen for back-to-back birdies on 16 and trying to knock one in on 17. Oh, yeah.
It's possible. I didn't think it was.
I never got it. All right. I'll be your wind dummy.
And keep in mind, Ellen started the day at +1, so she is currently 4 down for the round.
Oh, just kidding. That was all me.
After just telling the crowd all they have to do is just sit still. And she's officially brushing it off her shoulders, not just figuratively, but literally brushing it off. I love the mind reset there by Courtney. And there's Elaine with her water bottle. Such a distinct sound. So we are heading to our 54th hole of the FPO division here on Sunday morning.
It's been such a pleasure. Such a pleasure playing with you guys.
And as we've seen so many times before in the world of 2020 and early 2021, the foot taps, the toe taps, instead of the high fives and hugs. I promise we're going to get back to all of those. Whether people like it or not, I'm going to be a hugging machine at some point.
Third time's a charm.
Ellen finds inbounds. And now Sarah has gone 2 for 2 in the opening 2 rounds here. She has birdied this both times. She might be one of the only people on the property all weekend that has done that. She's taken back-to-back birdies and waiting on the green flag, and she gets it. Elaine playing a turnover. Is it going to come out? There's the green flag. And also to go back a moment, all the transitional screens that you see, those are also all supporters either of this specific event and coverage or maybe a little bit more generically, but just thank you to so many. And of course, my Patreon subscribers and supporters. I'll just be brutally honest. If it weren't for Patreon and the support that I get there, there's a lot of coverage that would never even exist. So if you can, and if that's a way to support, I certainly appreciate it. And I'm going to have a Patreon exclusive giveaway for this round. So if you are a Patreon subscriber of mine, I'm going to have a special giveaway where I just pull from those subscribers and supporters. That'll work for Elaine. I'll also have a generic giveaway. How about that? So all you have to do, like, share, subscribe, do all the YouTube stuff. Sarah, Sarah trying to play to the platform because she just wants the par. She's got a 5-stroke lead. Oh, but Ellen is not effing around. Incredible shot. Ellen on the dance floor trying to get her 3rd birdie in a row.
It's so annoying, but I need to do it.
Big props to Courtney for just recognizing that she was out of her comfort zone. She wasn't going to be able to get a good shot up the hill from throwing from that hillside where she was. So she just pitched it up to the flat spot. And very tough, as she said, very annoying to have to do. But and Dwayne, our course superintendent, gives us the green flag, gives Sarah the green flag, and she is up on top with a long look at her par. And Courtney put herself into position to also put herself up there. It's Elaine's 3rd shot. Again, you don't want to be too close to this hill, and she just scoots it over the edge. And in the sake of confusion, that roped off area, that is just to keep non-players back from the green. That is not out of bounds in any way, although every year it appears to be, it feels like it is, just because that's what you normally think when you see roped off area, but not out of bounds. Elaine trying to close it out. And that's why she's got more world titles than any other woman. And Courtney, big shout out. Again, thanks to her and Trevor for the assists throughout the weekend. And Ellen Widboom is going to come up short of hunting down Sarah Hokom, but she's going to have a 5 under on the round. Incredible performance. And your champion, Sarah Hokom, taking it down, averaging 31 points above her rating. Incredible effort. And with that, we're going to take a quick look at the, as I just mentioned, Sarah Hokom, your champion. She wins by 3, and Ellen Widboom ends up having the hot round of the tournament, besting Sarah's opening round of 4 under. So congratulations to her, and Elaine and Courtney maintain their positions. I catch up with Sarah Hokom, our champion, so I can get a final interview with her, and we close this out. I'm the Disc Golf Guy, and that was my video blog. Joined by our now first-time ever champion at Throw Down the Mountain, Sarah Hokom. Sarah, you've won a lot of tournaments and a lot of states. This one's pretty cool, though, isn't it?
Yeah, like this course is phenomenal. Like up and down these mountains. Who knew there were mountains in Florida? I've been telling people that, and they're like, "There's no mountains in Florida." Folks, there is, and it's actually right out here at the Grand Canyon. Really fun place to be.
Yeah, and a great battle ensued,
Yeah.
as I would expect. We see one of the all-time greats in Elaine King, but also then Ellen Widboom, of course, a fellow four-hander. Ellen lives near the course. Did she help you at all before you got here in any way, shape, or form? Did she give any strategies?
Nope.
She kept it on
I
lockdown.
knew she'd be here to battle, though. You know, I guess she lives like 2 miles from the course. But this course isn't open year-round. It's only open for like a month out of the whole year. So even though it is her home course, she doesn't get as much advantage as one would normally get when they live so close. But I knew she'd be a force to reckon with, and I think she's won this one a few times herself.
Of course, yeah, of course. When she comes out here, like you said, she lives very close. We've seen her dad out here caddying. They put in a lot of time and effort on the property, so some good vibes. But you jumped off of what is kind of the traditional tour to come try and play something new. Why was that?
Well, you know, I mean, I play all the same tournaments almost every year nowadays, which I don't mind. I like the tournaments I'm playing, but whenever I can shoot away and play a course I've never played and a tournament I've never played, I'm always trying to do that. Just, you know, first for my own fun, and Florida's great. You know, Mike Barnett's great, and I've been wanting to check out this wooded gem for a minute. So.
All right. Well, she's your champion. Anything you want to say to the world out there?
Hey, pick up a Cosmic Trace. Thank you, MVP Disc Sports, and a great battle by Ellen, who ended up shooting the hot round on the weekend, and I feel very fortunate to come away with the win.
Well, as she said, that's Sarah Hokom, your champion here. Thank you to Mike Barnett and the entire Sun King crew, of course, our presenting sponsors in Discraft and Sun King, and everyone else that helped out with the vlogs, all the Patreon subscribers, all the giveaways, all that good stuff. Thanks. We'll catch you guys next time.
Thanks to my caddies, too.